Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from the lovely little Isan town or city, small city of Ubon Ratchathani in Thailand, Isan province. So come on along with me, let's have a look around and I'll show you what this place has to offer. Let's go. So this is the famous Wat Nong Bua, famous in Thailand at least, and it's really quite splendid. Obviously looks like it would be pretty old, huh? But actually it was built in the 1950s, and yeah, but despite that, you know, it's got the vibe, doesn't it? It's really got the right feeling about it. It's super impressive. One of the nicer temples in Thailand for sure. A lot of people say that they get templed out traveling in places like Thailand, and that might be so, but this one is a really nice one. If you pick the right ones, then you don't get templed out. Depends how long you're traveling around in the region for, though, of course. Looks like the inner sanctum here. Very nice. You can see it's quite popular to pray to these dragons here. Not sure why, but I was told they're quite important ones in this country. So it's only 10 baht to come out to the temple here on a song tao, which is like a pickup truck that is used in Thailand as a form of public transport, like a kind of minibus or something, but it's open air pickup truck. You sit in the back, 10 baht, and it takes about, not more than about 12 or 15 minutes to get here, and the song tao drops you right out at the gate there. So okay, so back in the old town, can say Muang district. The Muang is like old town, old city, part of Ubon Ratchathani. And there's this lovely area in the center here that's square shaped, and this part of it's a park, and then there's on the other side there's a part that's like a paved area where you can buy food in the evenings, and it's actually very enjoyable. All the locals come out, and lots of nice looking young people, and it's a good atmosphere for sure. It's a very nice park, and the little square on the other side is a lovely spot to have some dinner in the evening. So let's head on down. So from this street and then going this direction, this is the most interesting part of Ubon Ratchathani, the oldest part, between this street and going forward here towards the river. So the river is a few blocks up ahead here. There are a few interesting monuments in this park. I would assume this says Ubon Ratchathani. Little hobbit-sized doorway here. And I do believe this is the city pillar shrine. That sure looks like a city pillar to me. And for some strange reason they've got a small parking area here that's all dusty and dirty. And there's a monument over there for something, I'm not sure what. And the little food area is waking up. It's still early in the evening, or I can say quite late in the afternoon. So it's going to get a fair bit busier. This is actually my third trip to Ubon Ratchathani. And it tells you how much I like it, I suppose. You can see one of the Ubon Ratchathani taxis there. Very reasonably priced, I can say. Quite cheap. They don't seem to give you a hassle about any funny business with trying to not use the meter or any other kind of overcharging scams. So that's my experience, at least. Every time I've used one here, which is only a few times actually, it's been totally relaxed, no problem at all. The cars are a little bit older, maybe look like late 1980s, but very clean and tidy. There are a few buildings in the old town that are really quite old, but not so many of the very old ones. Mostly it's like 1950s, 1960s, early 70s. But yeah, there are a few gems of older architecture, like this interesting place here. I really like this one. Wouldn't mind owning that place. So this one is basically the second road from the river, and you can see there's some interesting signs, and the architecture has kind of a retro time warp feel about it. I like it a lot. Old Thai Airways logo up there. It's really quite colorful. Bit of a blast from the past kind of vibe going on around here. Unintentionally, of course, but that makes it even better, doesn't it? Here's a lovely old place here. You need a school uniform, university or high school, I guess. It's a bit of a trend at the moment for Japanese and Chinese tourists to buy Thai high school and university uniforms for kind of cosplay photo opportunity things. And then they pose around. Hello. Yeah, they pose around and get their photos done like that. I've not seen many foreigners here, like I think 3 so far on this trip. And I think the previous 2 trips I didn't see any foreigners. But this place does have quite a bit of history. The airport in Ubon Ratchathani was used by the American military in the Vietnam War. It was one of the main air bases that the Americans used in Thailand for bombing the communists in Vietnam. And I'm quite sure, I've definitely read stories about that airbase being attacked by communist guerrillas who infiltrated across the border at night into Thailand. Well, maybe some of them were locals as well, and they launched attacks on the airbase. So there was a bit of a spillover of violence into the local area here. Of course, we're only about 1 hour away from the border of Laos, and in the Vietnam War there was also fighting in Laos with the communists there, the Pathet Lao communist forces. All part of the same kind of thing in a way. We won't go into the details now, but yeah, under the banner of communism. But you can say they were kind of using that to get self-determination. But anyway, this is you can say the first street that runs parallel to the river. And I like it a lot. Cool old time warp pharmacy there. So, from what I've heard, there were a couple go-go bars on this street back in the day, if you can believe it. And I'm not sure when they closed. I think when I first came here about 12 years ago, one of them might have been there, but it was closed. But you could see what it was. Of course, it's like a legacy of the Vietnam War, a bit of a hangover of the Vietnam War. You can see street arts taking off here now. It's a thing in Thailand, that street arts popping up in these kind of cool little old towns of the smaller cities in Thailand. Now that the young generation starts to be able to do stuff, you know, they can see it from their travels around the world. They can compare it and see that there's some cool stuff, and they're trying to make something out of it. It's really good. Here's another nice older type building. It's a nice guest house down here on the left that I'm staying at. Actually, it's technically a hostel. Let's head on down a bit further. Yeah, so the whole Vietnam War thing still felt today a little bit, and for sure there are some American expats and other foreigners living in the area, married to local women. Some of them who have been here for a long time as well, since the end of the Vietnam War. Of course, some guys couldn't settle down back home in America or other places because of the psychological effects of the Vietnam War. Some of them drifted back to Southeast Asia and basically found a significant other that they could make a life with and try to rebuild a life after the shattering experience of going through the terrible war. And yeah, some of them just went off the grid, and some of them are still alive today in places like Ubon Ratchathani or in the outskirts, in the districts surrounding the small city. Here's an okay little temple right in the middle of the old town. It's a decent one, but I'm not going to go in there to show you guys because it's not like a super duper one, but it's definitely an okay one. It's another road that runs down to the river. It's a gorgeous river. So with the street art, the whole cafe thing starts to mushroom in places like this. Penang in Malaysia was a bit of a regional leader for this kind of thing with the street art and everything that goes along with it, and then it's spread throughout the region, and it's a really nice thing to see. Makes a trip to these kind of places a bit more comfortable. And the river down the end of this one as well. and another temple that bookends this part of the old town. Hello, how are you? I can say the locals are a lot friendlier here than what you find in the touristy places in Thailand. Now that looks very interesting, doesn't it? Don't know what's in there, I don't remember, but it does look interesting. Or maybe it's a trap. Quite a cool kind of Chinese type shrine there. Ubon Traders Association. I wonder what they trade or what they used to trade. Maybe I shouldn't say what I'm thinking. This is a family channel. I have to keep reminding myself. But I'll let you imagine what some of the families in the region made their wealth from in the old days, even though these days they might have perfectly normal type businesses. Not too different from other places. It's just the timeline's a bit different, of course. The timeline of development is a bit different. Yeah, I'm not saying it's all the same either, though, you know. Same but different? I wouldn't say that even. I would just say there are similarities, but there are plenty of differences as well. So, the river's down there as well. There's still a lot you could do with this place, obviously. It's a quiet place. Every time I've been around the old town, 3 trips, it's been quiet every time. But yeah, you see the whole cafe culture, graffiti art, street art, youth culture thing starting to creep back in here, bringing life back into the heart of the old town of Ubon Ratchathani, like a bunch of other cool places in Thailand. So this is one of my, I can say this is officially one of my favorite small cities or large towns. I would say small city for this one, in Thailand. Cheap place there, maybe, huh? Maybe I could even afford that one if I pay it off over 50 years. Just a shame people don't click that buy me a coffee link a bit more, isn't it? So anyway, this is one of the small cities in Thailand I could actually imagine spending a bit of time in. You know, if you had like a lot of people clicking on your buy me a coffee link, for example. Yeah. Vietnamese restaurant. This one is quite popular apparently. I don't know if it's open right now. It says until 8 o'clock, but I'm not sure about that. Interesting kind of modern architecture there. So we're back on the second street again. Welcome to my hovel. It's not a bad wee hovel, is it? As far as hovels go. Oh, that's not a bad one either. Yeah, those kinds of buildings are quite atmospheric. Usually some of the oldest buildings that you find, where does that go? That goes through to that other mysterious alleyway, I think. So, see, these ones are actually quite old. So yeah, you can see there's still a lot more potential for this place to become a kind of a cool kind of place. Hello! That's how the locals do it in Thailand. Sit outside of their place, get the fresh air because it's cooler than sitting inside. Hang out with some family or friends, drink a bit, eat some stuff, chill out. That's how they like to do it. It's not a bad way. It's cheap, don't have to pay for air conditioning. Okay, so we've just done a big loop and we're now swinging back to close to where we were before. We were just down there before on the other side of these signs, and let's look right. The square is back that way. We were down there earlier, and let's swing left. You remember this temple down here. Hello. Well, I couldn't resist. I just had to come back to this mysterious alleyway, even though it looks like it could be a trap. So I put myself at risk of human smuggling, or perhaps, hello, perhaps losing myself for 10 years in an opium den or something like that, just for you guys. I'm sure I've been down here in the past, but it's a number of years, so I don't remember exactly. And it looks really lovely. This is a really old, original part of the old town, obviously. This has still got the old village feeling. The village people, that's all you need. Just need the village people singing YMCA and the whole picture would be completed. Hello.
Hello.
No bird. No bird.
No bird.
The bird flew away. Okay, lucky bird. So, free bird. Cool. This bird has flown. This bird is still flying. Somehow. After so long. Yeah. And glad to have you guys along with me to show you all some of these cool places, these interesting little corners of the world that you might not hear about otherwise. As we stumble on down to the riverside here, the Man River. I knew a girl in Vientiane, Laos named Man. One of a group of friends that I used to hang out with there a bit. Of course, some people might think this is the Mekong River, but it's not. The Mekong River's further to the east. That's all for today's episode, guys. Thanks for coming along with me. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and hit the bell button and click like and all that good stuff. And thanks again. So see you in the next one, and don't be late.